Welcome back, everybody. The History Guy here. Now, I am not going to do a kind of a full review of my reboot of Halls Ferry Road as I get back into the last stages of this campaign. I just want to point out the difference this time around versus last time based on a couple of things. Number one, my playthrough of the last several battles has given me a much better army that's better equipped, better experienced. I've inflicted more casualties on him, which meant he had slightly less going into this one, but primarily it was because I had more. His numbers were pretty similar. He went into this battle with maybe 3,000 more men, actually, because of my scaling. But at this point on Halls Ferry Road last time, I think at 227, I checked the casualties and the numbers on the other one. On my last playthrough at this point, he had 44,000 men, 232 guns. This time he's got 40,000 men and 196 guns. So I've definitely knocked him down by far more on both of those. But the big difference is what I have at this point. Last time I had 54,000 men and 130 guns at this point. This time I have 68,000 men and 163 guns. To put it succinctly, last time he had 130 more guns than me at this point. This time he's only got 33 more guns. Last time I had 10,000 more men than him. This time I have 28,000 more men. And the only real difference I made with my strategy is I took some advice from a few of you and I put some troops on this side. For the most part, I haven't done much with it. But I did drive off a few men and I parked some sharpshooters here who have been picking off troops. But it has kind of made this road a little easier, that combined with the additional troops that I have. So I'm going to be in a much better situation going into the last two battles than I was last time. And we'll see what that looks like when I get to Hardin Pike. Okay, so here is Hardin Pike. It's the final battle before Washington, D.C. And numbers are going to be fairly even. Once I have all the troops on the field, I should outnumber him by about 10,000 men. Unfortunately, even though his force pool is only in the 40,000s, he still brings 70,000 men to Hardin Pike and 100,000 men to Washington. No matter what you do, no matter the number of men in his force pool, his starting numbers at Washington are 100,000 men. So that's what I'll be facing. Luckily, I have retooled myself to plan for that. And so I kind of conserved my forces knowing that there was nothing to be gained by inflicting further casualties on him because he was going to have the same number of troops no matter what when I got to that final battle. So that's kind of the end game you have to think about, is that it doesn't really matter what you inflict on him. That'll affect the smaller battles, but when you get to these last ones, it doesn't matter at all. He will have 99,500, I think it is, at Washington no matter what you do. So keep that in mind when you're building your army. That way you can take in the most troops, and that's what I'm planning to do. I should be able to take in about 130 to 140,000 men into Washington when the time comes. I'm using about half of my army here, about 70, I think I have about 80,000 men to his 70 once everybody's here. So I'm going to jump in and out with this. Because I'm not going to be doing a lot to start. I'm basically going to get my army into position. I'm going to shell him for a long time, and then I'm going to try to overrun these forts. So we'll see how that works out. Alright, so just 3 hours ago, I've got my full complement of men on the field. My guns are all starting to open up. A few are still moving into position. He's actually taken out a lot of my men already from his own artillery. About 1,000 men I've lost so far. He's lost about 700. But now that all my guns are opening up, that should change. I need to soften these outer rings and then just try to rush through at the last minute. Since casualty infliction is not my goal here, because I know he's going to have that minimum number at DC no matter what, preserving my army is the goal and taking as many men as possible into DC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do much like I did when I played through this on Brigadier General difficulty. I'm just going to try to overwhelm his numbers and just overrun the objective in the last hour. That way I lose fewer men. And so in order to do that, I'm just going to line up a couple of columns that I punch right through like a knife, a pinprick right into the middle, rather than a broad kind of front trying to overwhelm his position. I just need to grab the objectives before the time runs out. So that's what I'm going to do. You can see he's starting to back off now a little bit from those objectives. I wish I could see his guns, because that's really what I want to concentrate on. Because I've got a ton of rifled artillery. Almost everything I've brought into this battle are 10-pounders, 20-pounders. But I can't use them on his artillery until I can see them, and I know they're all probably right up here. So maybe on this side I start advancing a little bit now that his defenses are gone, and I can get a better view of what's behind, so I can start shelling them and soften that up before I go in. I'm starting to try to line up my assault forces here. And I'll get those in several rows. Alright, so it looks like he reoccupied these fortifications here. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of drive him out of there, because I want to be able to see what's behind there. Looking at the numbers, I've got him by about 11,500 men right now. There we go. They were still pretty weak, so all they needed to do was get a volley or two into them. I'm going to move some of these guns up, so that when I do see his artillery, I'll be in the best position to hit him. Alright, there's some of his artillery, so let's pause for just a second, because I wanna hit them with everything that I've got. I want that artillery out of there as much as possible. Right now he's got 271 guns. That's what I need to work on. Bring that number down. You can see the shells coming down from up here. I believe it'll let me go past on the time on this one, but I can't necessarily count on that. But I'll wait until about 40 minutes to go before I launch this assault over here. I may need more lines of infantry than this on this side. And I'm going to send these supplies over here to help keep the guns well supplied. Let's get up on Meringer's flank and drive him out of there. Same thing over here. So just putting a little hole in the line allows me to kind of get in there on these flanks without a major assault right now. Looks like okay, the guns are still there, but now I can hopefully hit them as well. There we go. And now he's going to bring a brigade forward. And now I can start to see his second line. These lead units, of course, are going to suffer a lot of casualties. Of course, it drives me nuts that these guys are behind these fortifications, yet they so easily turn their guns. It looks like they're almost firing at themselves. Alright, paper call. No. I gotta keep an angle at about right there because I want to be able to hit these guns and drive them off. It's saying I'm blocked from hitting them. Alright, Cooper's gotta go away. I'm down to just 2 hours now. Alright, there we go. Now I can start to see the guns up in the fortifications. And that's who I want to hit. I don't know how well I'm going to do that. I don't think these 24 pounders have that kind of range. I'm going to move them up. Don't hit the infantry. Take out the artillery. Just at the edge of my range for these 10 pounders. I may have to move them up. Okay. I'm going to send Morrison over here. I feel like I need just a little bit more manpower on that side. But primarily, I want him to think most of my men are up here. Oh, look at Moore occupying the fortifications. Bad idea. Alright, come on, paper color. They're gonna break. I wonder if... I'm going to slow things down here. This may not work, but I'm going to give it a try. It's worth sacrificing 250 men. Turn them just a little bit. Okay, they're going to get into these guys' fire, I think. If nothing else, maybe I can just send them into this battery. Yeah, I guess that's what we're going to do. But that works too. Alright, back to targeting his artillery. Alright, hour and 51 to go. So I am starting to take out some of his guns now. I've lost about 3,000 men. He's lost about the same, so that's actually pretty good. If I can keep the casualties even, I'll consider that a great success here. So one more time, I want to try and get on the flank of the last unit that's in fortification. Alright, we gotta resupply these guns. I believe I sent the other supplies up here. Okay, yeah, they're both up here. Alright, this one I think I'm gonna overrun fairly easily. I'm just concerned about how many men he may have on the other one. I'm gonna pause for just a second. Okay. Now comes the tricky part. Let's hold these guys up before they get into the range of these guns. I'm going to leapfrog some of my batteries. Alright, he's got a bunch of brigades over here too, so I want to be cautious. I'm actually going to wait because I am inflicting some decent casualties on his artillery right now. So let's back these guys off. Just let my artillery do their job for a little while. Oh, Torbert. I saw that too late. Alright, he's down to 255 guns. Let's try and take out as many of those as possible. He's reoccupying these fortifications. Alright, I'm gonna go on this side. No sense in trying to shoot it out with him from a distance, even though I think I've got the numbers with guns over here. I saved most of my 3-star units, held them back from this battle because I've got several of them now. I have one right here, but they haven't been involved. But for the most part, I put a lot of my really good units in the 3rd and 4th Corps to save them for DC, knowing that assaulting this position was going to be a lot of casualties. And when I get to about 45 is when I'm gonna, I think when I'm gonna send this. I've only lost 5,000 men. That's gonna change massively in the next 70 minutes of battle. But the numbers favor me here. I don't care what kind of fortifications he has. Got him by 10,000 men, which is about where I started. Keeping an eye on that clock so I can get ready for phase 2 of this assault. Yeah, here come the massive casualties now. I need to take out this battery. He's going to be firing into my flanks. Moving up the guns that are the furthest back. I've secured the northern fort. I'm going to pause again. Now that I can see a little bit more of the field and I can kind of know what's going on, I want to look at the numbers. Still about 10,000 man advantage, slightly less now, but I've dropped down his number of guns that he had available. I've lost 7,600 men. He's lost about 5,000. Alright, so Fort 1 is taken. And in about 5 minutes, I'll begin the assault on Fort 2, the southern fort. It has a contested timer, but for some reason I don't think that matters on this particular battle. I'm going to slow things down a little bit while I get this started. Because the one thing I'm worried about here is that as these guys break, they break right into my path over here. So I'm just sending all of these guys straight at the fortification. And we're going to hope this works. I need to keep moving my guns up. Alright, I gotta try to bring some kind of order to this chaos here. I think I can stop everybody from advancing. And let's get up here and hit these guys so we can dislodge them. I want to try and form some kind of a semblance of a battle line here. Otherwise, I'm going to start getting hit in flanks, and I'll lose a lot of men needlessly. All right, and here we come. I have no idea what he's got up there. I just know that on the battlefield he's still got 60,000 men. And that concerns me. Alright, everybody here needs to stop. Because they're still advancing. Alright, here we go. We're going to hit the first line. Obviously, I'm going to take flanking fire from Mitchell over here. I've got to overrun these guns. And this is what I was afraid about, people getting hit on the flanks once they got up here. "34 minutes to go." I can start coming at him from this side a little bit. See, he's going to start dropping back up into this fortification. That concerns me. Alright, Harlan, let him go, let him go. Alright, my first unit has broken, but I expected that. But he'll get back into it before this is over. Try to send some help over from this side. A little concerned I may have sent them too late, but I'm hoping that's not going to matter. Yeah, I think I'll stay in slow-mo mode on this one. My advantage is staying right around the same, so casualties are actually staying even despite an assault up a hill into a wooded fortified position. And I think that's mostly because of what's happening over here. That's evening out what I'm suffering over here. Oh, this is going to be ugly. I don't know about this. John Breckinridge was wounded, the former Vice President of the United States, who became a Confederate general. I believe he's also married to a relative of Mary Todd Lincoln. Might even have been her sister, I'm not sure. Oh man, that's a strong position. I don't know about this. I just need to punch a hole in it though. I don't need to overrun the whole thing. See now 4 of my brigades, that's almost half my force, are in retreat. And they won't be the last ones. Oh, he's hitting me in the rear. Darn it. I need Mitchell out of there. I should have done that sooner. Not sure I'm going to break through this line. Okay, occupying Mitchell at least removes the threat of being fired on from the rear there. Right now what I need to hope for is that this battle is allowed to continue past the timer, because I'm gonna be close. I may have just wanted to launch this assault 10 minutes sooner. I think last time I fought this battle I did it a little too early. This time I may have gone too late, because I'm breaking through the line. And yeah, this is not really how you would fight a battle in the Civil War, but the way I justify gaming the system is that he games me with the stupid force pool thing, where he's only got 48,000 men in his army but still has 100,000 men at Washington. So this is what I have to do to negate that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Secured the South Fort as the timer went. Wow. That could not have been better timing. I'm going to chalk that up to luck and not necessarily skill. But still, 11,000 casualties on his side, 14,600 on mine. So that's really not so bad. So now we're going to get our army refit and ready to go. And we're going to go up against that 99,500 men in D.C. and see what happens. I'm going to wrap this up right now. And we'll look over the army at the beginning of the Washington assault. We've got a bad thunderstorm coming here, and I want to make sure that I get this video done and saved before we lose the power. So as always, guys, thank you so much in advance for your comments, your questions, your observations, your criticisms, your suggestions, and of course for watching and following this series and all the great interaction we've had. We'll be back with the Battle of Washington, D.C. later on this week. And that'll probably, I'm sure it'll be a several-part video because we've got to first take Washington, and then we got to turn around and defend it against his counterattack. I don't know how that's going to go, but we're at least there. We made it to Washington in Legendary mode. Now we'll just see what happens with it. So thanks, guys. Hit that thumbs up if you would, and we'll see you again real soon.